Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of the Sam Hossack Media Podcast. Very special guest today. He is a Dallas based photographer. Please welcome Sean Berry.
Hey everybody.
Now, Sean, take us through how you really got into photography and working in all the professional sports leagues that you've shot for.
I got into photography pretty young. I kind of stole my dad's camera growing up and just took a lot of really bad photos, wasted a lot of film. And I actually got my start in music photography. Um, just wanted to get into concerts for free and worked for Atlantic Records for a few years, which was awesome experience. I got tired of that and actually moved into shooting weddings for 5 years. Um, and I got really tired of that, and I just kind of got lucky with. I found out who the Stars photographer was in Dallas, and kind of worked for him off and on for like 2 seasons. Helped him on media days and stuff like that, and he announced that he was going to be leaving at the end of the season. And like my ears perked up, and kind of started showing up to games early and shooting what was it, pre-skate, whatever. Can't think straight, whatever. Yeah. Started shooting that from the stands and just tried to shoot it in a different way than just like the normal like trading card looking way. Just trying to get interesting angles, whatever, and tried my best to put a book together um, so that I could hopefully show the stars. Um, and I ended up meeting this girl who worked for the Stars, and her boss happened to be the right guy. Started dating her and begged her to introduce me to him, and she very reluctantly did, and he hired me on the spot, um, and just kind of blew my mind. I had like really no experience in shooting sports. Um, but I guess I kind of just always try to shoot it in a different way and see it in a different way than most sports photographers, I guess. And he gave me a chance, um, and the rest is kind of just history. Just kind of kept expanding from there. Um, my boss at the Stars left after my first season and went to Fox Sports, which is now Bally Sports, and he took me with him. So uh, I got to shoot everything in Dallas, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and New Orleans, and it kind of just like exploded for me. I was just shooting everything, and it's been a lot of fun. It's opened a lot of doors with random clients. Like started shooting for Bauer uh, about a year or two ago. Just random clients like that, Red Bull, different stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. Oh,
For
and then I
sure.
did marry that girl that that made the introduction.
For sure. And obviously, the Dallas Stars are a top organization in the National Hockey League. So, what is it like covering them?
Oh man, it's a blast. I kind of call myself a fan first, over being a photographer. So um, my first season, it was like really hard not to fangirl, because I just been watching these guys. I'm just a huge fan of the sport, and I love my stars. And uh, after shooting a few games, just kind of get over like, oh my god, it's Tyler Sagan, or uh, and it's just business. You're there to do a job. They're there to do a job, and it's just. As a fan, it's a dream. Um, it's a lot of fun.
Now, is there one player that you've shot photos of that you're like, holy crap, I'm actually getting to shoot for this player right now?
um, oh, in the hockey world, I met Gretzky in the hallway one time, and I kind of had to duck into another room after that and just like catch my breath. I mean, it's awesome to meet him. I didn't take his picture. I wish I'd had the kahunas to ask, but just to meet him was really cool. But shooting wise, yeah, I don't know. I think my biggest like, oh man, that's a hard question. I've shot a lot of people that I get really excited about. I mean, I grew up playing baseball as a kid, so a lot of my freak out moments have come with shooting a lot of baseball athletes. Like I got to have lunch with Miguel Cabrera once, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing sitting at this table right now. It's like, um, but I mean, hockey. I mean, it's just all of it. I mean, I love getting to work with these guys and just just getting to create art.
For sure. And one photo that you have on your website is of Keith Yandel. How special of a photo is that one of him in the tunnel? Obviously, Yandel's one of the greatest players right now and has the second highest Ironman streak in the National Hockey League.
Oh, shoot, I didn't even know that. What a bad hockey photographer. Um, that was a lot of fun. My buddy who was the designer with the Panthers brought me out for their last game of the season because he wanted to prove to the higher ups that um, they needed better photography. Not to not, oh shoot, I hope I didn't knock their photographer. Shoot, I cut that. No, but I mean that was the year that I think Yager was there that season, um, and getting thrown into like a new barn and getting to see like everything from a new perspective was really exciting. I mean they were all really great to me. My favorite moment from getting to shoot there was Yager came in on a Segway from the garage, which I thought was hilarious. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I really answered your question, but sorry.
It's all good. Now, this year, if you're shooting for the stars, what's the difference like in a COVID season? What are you really able to do as a photographer this year?
Uh, Nothing. It sucks. um, it's been really hard just to be excited and kind of drive the creativity. Not allowed to do anything, uh, obviously in the locker room or the tunnels or anything like, which is honestly that's my favorite part of shooting sports is like everything that happens before or after the game. Um, so it's been hard, and I've just tried to like keep the creativity by just playing with remote cameras and putting cameras wherever I'm allowed to. I still run into a lot of roadblocks with putting cameras in certain places. Like I really wanted to put one near the bench and just get like bench reactions, especially since like they moved the glass this season. I wanted to put a camera right there, and unfortunately that got shot down. I think it would have been a really cool shot, but just every game you just kind of have to find something to get excited about and just try your best. This season's also been really hard because I've shot a lot of our overtime losses. um, Most people don't know this, but I don't shoot every single game. I'm one of their like special projects photographers, I guess. They use most of my stuff for like advertising and stuff. So I think this season I only shot 8 games, um, which is less than I would love to shoot. I hope we make the playoffs. I would love to shoot more hockey.
Absolutely. And as a Stars fan and covering the team, one guy that has been unbelievable this year is Jason Robertson. Just talk about him as a player.
Oh man, he's so exciting to watch. I mean, his shot's so quick. Sometimes you're just like, oh, that was a goal. I hope I got that picture. And I'm rooting for him so hard. I mean, I think we kind of get I don't know, the shit end of the stick because we're in Dallas. So everyone's rooting for Kaprizov, and that's great. I mean, he's another player that's really exciting to watch. But I mean, I think Robo is. I mean, he's been on fire. I think he's on a 9-game point streak right now, which is I think the longest point streak of rookies this season. And man, I just everything about his stat lines, everything. I think he deserves the Calder. I mean, we'll see what happens. It'd be cool to take something else from Minnesota again.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, Kaprizov was kind of the key in there for rookie of the year, but then Robertson just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think Robertson got benched a few games. I mean, he kind of had to fight his way into the lineup, and he isn't stopping. So he's been a lot of fun to shoot this year, and I wish I got to shoot more of the stuff the more personal stuff, kind of showing the fans his personality and stuff. But hopefully, fingers crossed to get to do that next season.
Now, one staple in that Stars lineup that hasn't been around this year due to an injury is Tyler Seguin. Just talk about the absence he's kind of left on the team and who's kind of filling his role right now.
Man, I don't. We haven't had the most explosive offense this season, so I don't even know if anyone's really filling his role. I mean, when Tyler's on the ice, even when he's not scoring, I mean, he's drawing a lot of attention, which opens up a lot of eyes for other guys. So I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, the rumors are he'll be playing a few games to end the season, which could be huge, even if he's at 50%. But definitely miss him being on the ice, and honestly, just as a photographer, miss his personality on the ice. His celebrations when he scores. Always some of my favorite images. So we have. I don't want to talk crap about my team, but we got a lot of guys that are very well reserved, and when they score, it's just all right, next. And I also appreciate that because I mean they're not satisfied and they want more. But as a selfish photographer, I want them to go. I want them to be Ovechkin, when he scores.
Now, last season, obviously, season starts and then gets cut short in March because of COVID. How hard was it for, as a photographer, to have the season kind of cut short?
I mean, for it to be cut short, I mean, it sucked. I mean, especially the weird season that we were having. We lost our head coach. Then I mean, one of the coolest things I ever got to shoot was the Winter Classic, and that was a lot of fun. Um, don't really get to shoot outdoor hockey in Texas, so that was cool. And then when the season got cut short, we were on a 6-game skid, so no one was really expecting anything. So when they made the push that they made to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think everyone was like, "What the hell?" It worked out in our advantage. But I unfortunately didn't get to go up to Canada and be in the bubble, which was really hard. To see my team in the Stanley Cup and not get to take those images, it was depressing. It was really tough. I the fan won, and I rooted for him, but it was gutting. Um, I would call my boss after each round and just be like, "Can we please figure out a way to get me up there? I will quarantine. I will do whatever I need to shoot this." So, I mean, as crappy as it sounds, the fact that we didn't win, a bit of me, the selfish photographer, had a little bit of relief, but the fan wants to punch the photographer in the face. Would have been really cool to bring a cup home to Dallas.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned there, you got to shoot the Winter Classic game. Take us through that. And one big moment from that game is Corey Perry getting booted out about a minute or two into the game. So just take us through that as a fan of the Stars, thinking, what is going on in this game?
Oh, I mean, we couldn't have had a worse start to that game. I mean, they went up 2-0 real quick. And I was like, well, this is going to be a long day. This isn't going to be very fun to shoot. um, but I mean, they battled back. I mean, and that was kind of the team story last year was, they battled back in countless wins, countless games rather. Um, and it was just that made it a lot of fun as a viewer to watch because I mean, like we could be down 3-0 and you just be like, this team could do it. And I mean, like I think that's why we got to the Stanley Cup. But back to the Winter Classic. I mean, that was a trip. I mean, hearing I think it's like 80,000 fans. The roar of the crowd was just insane. I mean, it gave me chills. Um, it was unbelievable. I want to shoot more outdoor games. Um, but I actually had to shoot the Winter Classic through the glass. I'm not I'm not the team photographer appointed by the NHL, so I kind of got whatever was left over, and that was fine. That was awesome. I mean, I still got to do like all the behind the scenes stuff, which I love, like being in the locker room before that game. I mean, the nerves and like it was different. It felt kind of like it felt like a playoff game. Um, it was a lot of fun. I mean, and getting to walk down that tunnel. It's a long tunnel, and just it was cool. I don't know. It's really hard to put into words. I can't even imagine the feeling of people playing. But Perry, that was you weren't surprised. I mean, like uh being a Stars fan and like when I heard he was going to be on the Stars, I was like, what the hell? I have hated this guy for so long, and now I got to root for him. But he's a super nice guy. I was on the road trip when he went back to Anaheim for his first game, and just getting to see like the love that fan base had for him. Um, I mean, that was really cool to see. Standing ovation, and I was in the box behind him, like taking pictures of him, just like waving to the crowd, and it was really cool to see. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to play in that game because the suspension from the Winter Classic. But I wouldn't call myself a fan of him, but I definitely respect him.
Yeah, he's one of those players in the National Hockey League, like Wilson and a couple others that you hate to play against him, but when he's on your team, you gotta kind of cheer for him. And I mean, as a Leaf fan right now, I'm kind of dealing with that, cheering a little bit for him, kind of, because he was gonna come to Toronto and then ends up in Montreal, and he
Yeah,
has to play against every time the Leafs face him. So it's just like, oh my gosh, like I mean, he would have been perfect fit for Toronto, but at the end of the day, he's had some questionable hits, but at the same time, he's had a good NHL career, and you've got to
yeah,
respect him for that for sure.
for sure, definitely.
Now, some other sports that you've covered are baseball and hockey, or baseball and basketball. And I know it's a hockey podcast, but as a sports fan, how cool is it to cover the Texas Rangers and the Dallas Mavericks?
Man, I mean, the first baseball game I got to shoot was like a religious experience. Like, my eyes teared up when I walked onto that field with my camera. Baseball was just, like I said, I played up. I mean, I grew up playing it, and that was amazing. I wasn't necessarily the biggest basketball fan, but getting to cover Dirk's last couple of years was incredible. There isn't a nicer athlete in the world. I'm convinced. Like I mean, his loyalty. I mean, the way he treats people uh, is incredible. And then getting to shoot his last game in Dallas and getting that huge presentation or ceremony they did for him. it was beautiful. It was really cool. Some of my favorite images I've ever taken in basketball. Um, and now, getting to cover Luca, I mean, you can't complain. I can't wait to. I haven't really gotten to shoot much basketball this year because of COVID, so definitely looking forward to getting to cover his career because he's he's a monster.
Now, one of the athletes in Texas that you've shot before with the Rangers was Adrian Beltre, who had a phenomenal career. Just talk about being able to shoot some of the images of Beltre that you got.
Yeah. Again, one of the most incredible, like nicest athletes ever. You never know what you're gonna get when you meet players with those types of names. And he, like, I mean, the way that fans like you see him, like that's the guy that he really is. And I don't have like the most iconic images of Adrian. I mean, I really wish I was at the game where he moved the batter circle and then got thrown out of the game. Uh, but man, he was incredible. I mean, just as a sports fan, getting to watch him play more was a lot of fun. You didn't want to take your camera off of him because you never knew what he was going to do. Like if he was going to be messing with other players, or one of my favorites, is getting the image of Elvis rubbing his head. It's always a great image, but uh, yeah, I miss him on the team. The Rangers are not as exciting to shoot these years. So yeah, definitely. I hope I get to, when he'll get accepted into the Hall of Fame. I hope I get to go up there with Fox Sports, or I mean Bally's, and hopefully get to shoot him some more.
Now, not sure if you got to shoot this game or not, but the punch that was heard around the world that really started a rivalry between the Blue Jays and Rangers. As a Texas sports fan, talk about seeing Rougned Odor punch Jose Bautista in the face during a game.
Easily like the second best moment in Rangers history. First being when Nolan Ryan punched Robert Ventura in the face. But I mean, I know you're from Toronto and you guys probably love Bautista, but I loathe that man, that bat flip. Oh, it still haunts my soul. um, I was not at that game. I was actually eating pizza at a bar, and I just look up and I'm like, "Whoa, what the heck's going on?" Because it was on the TV, and I mean that was a really beautiful moment. But one thing I got to say about Odor is I mean, from what I hear, I don't know like firsthand, he's not actually very proud of that moment. Like he refuses to sign autographs on that picture. So I mean, I kind of have a lot of respect for him for that. But getting to see Batista in the face, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And I mean, from my angle of watching it, they're showing it on the TV and they kind of panned back to first base as he was sliding in the second. So they didn't really show it at first because they were trying to,
Yeah,
Sportsnet up here in Canada is trying to cover the play. And then you just see everyone running the second base. It's like, holy crap, what just happened? And they show it, they get punched in the face. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is going to start a huge rivalry. Like this is absolutely insane that this is happening in a baseball game right now.
yeah. I'm sad like that rivalry didn't really like live on too far past that. I mean, you thought that would be more of a thing, but I mean, I guess a lot of it like kind of plays into just the Rangers being kind of terrible. So I guess rivalries aren't as big of a thing when the teams aren't doing so well. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely was a thing kind of for the next year or so. And like obviously the huge playoff series they had at the end of that season there was Batista and the bat flip and however it happened and stuff. And I mean like it obviously went down in history, but I mean the Rangers are going in their direction. Look at the Blue Jays are doing. They've got a superstar infield right now. You got Vladdy, Bichette, all those guys coming up. So like couple of years down the road, who knows really what happens in rivalries in sports if there's another one between the Jays and the Rangers. But yeah,
Love to see it.
that was definitely a couple of years that won't be forgotten by Toronto and Texas fans for sure.
Yeah, I'd say y'all probably got the upper hand on that one.
Now, an event that's happening in Texas right now is the Under 18 Men's World Championships. How exciting as a hockey fan is it to have a tournament like that in your home state?
When they announced it, I was ecstatic. I emailed everyone I possibly could think of to get to photograph it because I mean that's some exciting hockey. And unfortunately with COVID and everything, like they had their guys, and those were the only photo passes they were handing out. So uh, I'm really bitter. So I haven't really been paying as much attention to it as I probably would have been. Um, but it's weird to have something like that in Texas. We get uh, people say we're not a hockey market, but um, the, the Stars have really done a lot to like really push to make this area more of a hockey market. I mean, we have great attendance. I don't know. I don't want to go down that road, but yeah, I wish I was shooting it. I'm not, and I'm pissed off.
Now, a team that's affiliated with Dallas is the Texas Stars, and they've had success the last few years. They actually made it to a Calder Cup final against the Toronto Marlies a couple of years ago, and obviously the Marlies came out on top. But how cool is it for Texas to have an AHL and NHL team in the same state?
Yeah, I mean it's wonderful. I mean it's wonderful for multiple reasons. I mean, just like even like having the I guess called like the farm team, whatever, that close. It's really fun to like get to follow these younger kids and seeing like them come up and play here. Because I mean, I don't shoot the Texas Stars, but I do shoot like the media day stuff of them each year. So when they're coming in, I'm like, this kid looks like he's 15. And like, it's like the next season he's there. Because I mean, I remember last season shooting Robertson, and I was like, man, this kid looks so young. And now, hopefully he's the rookie of the year. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great for Texas. Um, I know Houston keeps crying for a hockey team, and being a Dallas kid, I don't want them to have one just because there's a weird rivalry between Dallas and Houston. Um, I want Dallas to have all the attention in the hockey world. Sorry.
Now, as a sports fan, how hard was it to see all the backfire that the Houston Astros were getting the last couple of years due to all the allegations of cheating and stuff?
As a Rangers fan, I love to see it. um, I really don't like the Astros, but I think it's as much negative attention as it's brought to the sport. Um, you know, Sometimes attention in any way is a good thing, especially with, I mean, there's a lot of people that are just saying, baseball is not the sport it used to be. So, right now it's, you know, I think attention in any way is a good thing. But, one of my happiest moments was when I got to shoot the World Series for the Washington Nationals, and get to be in Houston and seeing all those sad Astros fans was, warmed my heart a little bit.
Now, the Olympics are coming up again next year, obviously every 4 years. And my understanding is NHL players are going to be there from kind of what the rumors are. So if you were to pick some guys from the NHL to be on that US team, who would you kind of go with?
Oh dang. Um, it's tough. A lot of my like, I mean, I could think like a lot of the younger kids it would be really exciting. But like, I mean, I feel like you couldn't have uh, the U.S. team without like Pavelski or Kane. Um, I mean, oh, that's tough. I don't know. I don't know. um, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just leave it at Pavelski and Kane.
Yeah,
Um,
it's always kind of hard because you got the two directions you can go. Because if you get the NHL guys, like Matthews is definitely going to be there as a
oh yeah,
top American guy who's gonna, as
duh,
I
yeah,
biased Leaf fan, I'm gonna say he's gonna win the Rocket Richard this year. But Matthews, Kane, Pavelski, Kessel could even be there again. Like he's been through a couple and stuff, and
yeah,
John Carlson on DU's had amazing couple of years in Washington last little while for sure. But and I mean, up on my side of things, the Canadian side with the NHLers, oh my goodness, like that's gonna be the greatest thing. Like McKinnon, McDavid, and Crosby on the line, like just put
so
that together
ridiculous.
and just it's over almost. Like you've seen it almost in the World Championship a couple of years ago in 2016, where that North American team was stacked and like a bunch of Canadians playing together and stuff. And I mean, back to the Americans, even you've got Cole Caulfield. I mean, he's still pretty young at 20 years old playing with Montreal
Mm,
now, but he's had an amazing career for USA Hockey. Or even Trevor Zegras, who helped you guys win a gold medal up in Canada this year at the World Juniors. It's amazing to see the talent that's really coming out of both countries.
yeah, no, it's been nice to see like kind of the rise in American hockey players because I mean it's we're not known for that, so it's you know it'll be fun to see. I hope the NHL players do get to be a part of it because it's definitely just I mean not that it's not exciting to watch, but that makes it a lot more uh, you know you get a heck of a lot more into it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one thing that I'm not sure is as huge as it is in Canada around Christmas is the World Juniors. How exciting is it to watch the World Junior tournament if you guys kind of do there in the States? I know you guys have won a lot of gold medals at the tournament over the years, so obviously success, but is it as big as it is in Canada?
Oh no, no. I mean it's hard to find to even watch down here, especially down in Texas. But uh, no, it's definitely not as big as it is up there, which is a shame. But hopefully, it'll continue to grow, and we'll see what happens.
Now, sad news in women's hockey the other day, the Women's World Championships were canceled. When you kind of saw the news, what was your first kind of reaction if you kind of had one?
Um, yeah, I mean, it sucks. I thought I had heard rumors about them trying to bring it to the Dallas area. Did they like officially announce that it was canceled?
Yeah, they had announced that last week after kind of talking with the government up in Nova Scotia. And I mean, I've heard they're looking at moving it uh, somewhere else. And I mean, if Dallas is the area, it's perfect area. Like you got the under 18s going on in Frisco and
Right.
wherever the other location is down there in Texas. So I mean, it's doable to have another championship there right away, right?
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think that would be really exciting. And again, I'm going to do everything I can to possibly shoot it. But I mean, I'd kind of heard some rumblings about it because I was supposed to shoot uh, the the Dream League games in St. Louis like 2 weeks ago, and those got canceled because of COVID. So I kind of had a feeling that it was coming, and it's sad, but hopefully they can figure out a way to make it happen. I mean, I with as unstrict on everything is that they are in Texas. I think it's perfect place for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, down there, it's kind of a lot more open than it is up here, especially in Ontario, where we're in a stay-at-home order. But I mean, obviously, out in Nova Scotia, I don't really know if a lot of people know it, but the day after they kind of canceled the tournament, Nova Scotia had 25 COVID cases. It's like you're you're
Oh wow.
you're canceling a tournament for it was at the time, I think, like 100 active cases of a population of like 950,000 people. Like they just, and now they're going into like a lockdown and trying to prevent people into the province and stuff. It's just like, oh my goodness. Like over here in Ontario, we at one point we're getting like 4,000 cases a day, and I mean we're in
Yeah,
a lockdown. We'll take it, but like that for them to be in a lockdown out there, it's like in 2 years in a row, you're taking away the dream for women to play hockey. Like the World Championships were there last year at the start of COVID, and it got canceled too. Like you're taking it away from them, and they go and look as you, especially USA women's players, they'd go and look and see that their country is hosting a tournament, and the men's tournament's coming up at the end of May, and that hasn't been canceled yet. Like, how are you letting this go? Like, I don't get it.
that's crazy. I didn't know like the cases were that low out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably have 25 cases in my neighborhood here in Dallas. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. Uh, that doesn't make any sense. Um, that's really sad. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, there's no reason for them not to make it happen. Then I don't know.
Yeah, like the biggest thing all the women have kind of said so far is why didn't Nova Scotia and the IIHF have a plan B? Like they had,
Yeah,
like one of the girls for Team Canada came out and was like, yeah, like we're in a bubble for 8 days or however long this tournament was gonna be, and like they were 100 meters from the rink, and they would get on a bus to go to a rink, so they weren't outside around people. Like they given and playing their government saying, yeah, we're not even going to be around anyone. No one's going to be in close contact with any of the population of Nova Scotia. Like, you've got it all set out, and the IIHF doesn't even have a plan B to in case anything happens. Like, I mean, it's sad because the big thing the women have said is if this is the men's tournament, it would still be going on right now, and that's what it seems like from the IHF.
yeah,
That if it was men's, they'd still let it happen because they're doing that with the two big tournaments that are going to go on.
that's outrageous. I It's just really sad. I mean, trying not to like use choice words.
Yeah,
Um, it's just pathetic that I mean they're not going to be treated equally. I mean, I mean, we know it's happening, and I mean, eventually it just has to I mean, freaking change. That's pathetic. That's the nicest way I can put it. I don't know. I had no idea that like the cases were that low. That kind of blows my mind.
yeah, like it's not even like the highest I've seen it because I check it kind of every day just to kind of see like, all right, like how bad was it? Is it gonna get? And it's like
Mhm.
200 or something. Like it's nothing. Like I mean, 200 people getting it is still 200 people getting it, but at the same time, it's like
Right.
really like you've got a million people in your province, and you're not letting 10 countries in that are going to be in a bubble and not even going to see a single person there. Like you get no attendance, no families in attendance, like no one's there. Like it's it's pretty sad to see that that's the way the IHF wants to handle women's hockey. And I mean, they're obviously they came out and said we're going to try and move it, and that's obviously the right step. But it should have been done in
Yeah.
the first place before they even
Definitely.
had the cancel word come out. They should have just been like, okay, we're going to move it somewhere instead of just canceling the whole thing. And I mean,
Yeah.
their big thing right now is they're kind of like, oh, we're postponing it, not really canceling it, but like
Hmm.
everyone knows it's canceled up in Canada. Like no one's like, all right, they're not doing anything. They don't have anything set yet. Like it could be months till they figure something out. But
That's crazy. I mean, hopefully they can do it here. I mean, that way at least I mean it'd be awesome for them to be able to play in front of fans, and um, I mean I think that would actually be really great for the sport and great for them. I mean, I can't imagine playing those important games in front of like an empty arena, but I mean, obviously that would have been better than nothing.
yeah, obviously, I mean, at the end of the day, you rather have fans than that. I mean, up in Toronto, they have the stupid crowd noise they pump in, and they do it at every NHL rink. But that is Like, excuse my language, that's bullshit. Like, it's so bad. Like, watching Leaf
Yeah.
games on TV, there's like a shot on net and the crowd goes wild like 4 seconds later. It's like, all right, no one, there's not 20,000 people reacting to a Joe Thornton shot from the blue line like that. Like, fully just stayed out of his glove. Like, this is not happening.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It was really bad, and I shot a few baseball games last year, and they were piping it in so loud. It was deafening. So I don't know if it's like that in Toronto, but you can kind of hear it at Stars games. I mean, the last game, what was it? Tuesday was the last home game, and I mean, the place, it was eerily full. There were a ton of people there, and it was loud. It was nice to see again, but at the same time, I just hope everyone's safe, and hopefully we're not doing something stupid. I don't know.
Now, have you had a chance to go to Globe Life Field, the new Texas Rangers ballpark? And if so, how amazing of a facility is that ballpark?
So I got to shoot the World Series last year for MLB. It was really exciting. And I gotta be really honest, I hate the new ballpark. I mean, it's awesome that there aren't going to be 100-degree baseball games, because I mean, when you're in those photo wells, you're just cooking. But there's just nothing about the ballpark that says Texas. And that the old ballpark is a really beautiful ballpark, I thought. But it's the end of the day, if the players are happy and fans are in the seats, I mean, that's all that matters. From a photographer standpoint, I'm bitter, but I don't have a shortage of opinions.
Yeah, obviously it's the newest ballpark in the major leagues, and I mean, getting a World Series the first year it opened was obviously amazing, and I mean, I
Yeah,
think the Rangers didn't get to play a lot of games last year at it because they were on the road to kind of start, I think, but I mean, they got to play some in it, and I mean, obviously this year, a month or so ago, they had 40,000 people in it, so I mean, it finally got to sell out, and I mean, I'm not sure what kind of crowds they're still getting at that ballpark now, but I mean that was pretty remarkable to see. And I mean, there were some idiots there kind of not wearing masks when they were supposed to, but I mean, like
not a
it's
shortage of those in Texas,
yeah,
man.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that kind of don't. And I mean, it's kind of weird because I'd seen that. I'm not sure if they still have it, but Texas, you don't have to wear your mask if you don't want to. And like at the Rangers game, they're just like, yeah, masks are mandatory. So at least they were cutting it down a little bit. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's left up to the businesses themselves. So, thankfully, a lot of businesses do still require it, but it's not really enforced at all. Actually, kind of got in a fight at Chipotle the other day because this dude behind me wasn't wearing a mask, and scoot up, and he just scoot up right behind me, and I had to turn around, like, dude, get the away from me. It's where have you been for the last year? And it's I don't know a single person that doesn't know someone that wasn't affected by this freaking virus. So it's just
yeah.
how dumb are you? And it really pisses me off. Um, I mean, end of the day, you're wearing a mask for other people, not yourself, and that's that.
Now,
Dogs awesome. Sorry.
now after COVID, what's the first thing that you're excited to kind of do when everything's really open again?
Well, I mean, so I'm vaccinated now. I think this is my first full week of being in that safe period. Um, and my wife and I, we went to a Stars game the other night when I wasn't shooting, and that was God. It was awesome. It was awesome. I was, it's just to be able to sit in the stands and watch the sport you love and have a beer, not at home. It was, is I'll never forget. first moment away from being back from COVID. So hopefully, we don't see a huge regression on everything, and more people keep getting vaccinated, and everyone just we can put this crap in the past. But that's yeah. I just want to go to more hockey games.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of the listeners, I'd like to thank Sean Bailey for coming on here today. It was an honor to chat hockey with you today, and best of luck the rest of the year. And hopefully, you get to enjoy more of those Dallas Stars games. And I mean, hopefully, they have a long playoff run. If they run into
Fingers
the Leafs,
crossed.
I'm sorry, but I think the Leafs are the better team. So we'll have to see. But
I'll give you that.
yeah, we'll see how the Stars do this year. Hopefully, they can make a good playoff run again. And you got to root for guys like Robertson to win
Yeah.
the Calder there.
Cool, man. I really appreciate you having me on, and I'll talk to you soon.